I bought the Oraimo soundbar for $20. Let's see what we get. Out of the box, we get a USB cable, an aux cord, and obviously a manual guide. It's not much, it's quite basic to begin with. We're going to talk about three things here. We're going to talk about the design, we're going to talk about the battery, and obviously how the soundbar sounds. Let's take the design. The design of the Oraimo soundbar is quite unique and different. Let's start from the top. From the top, we have our volume button switch at the far end of the soundbar, followed by a few buttons. And the other end, we just have the Oraimo logo, obviously. Taking it from the back, we have a USB port, followed by an SD card slot, an aux port, and a micro USB port. And right above the micro USB port, we have a battery indicator. It's actually a small hole. Looking at the general look of the soundbar, it has rounded edges, which is so comfortable in the hand. Rounded edges mean you can move it around easily without having any fatigue or cuts in your hand. Most soundbars that I have seen and used actually have sharp edges, and that makes it very uncomfortable to move around and things like that. The speaker grill on the Oraimo soundbar is metallic. With cloth sound grills that actually last, they begin to wear and tear over a short period of time. But for the Oraimo soundbar, we are getting a metal grill. And all of this adds to the premium experience and design Oraimo spoke about. That's good to know. I would give the design of the Oraimo soundbar a 7.5. That's kind of good in my rate. Let's talk about the battery of the Oraimo soundbar. Oraimo says on a single charge, you get 10 to 12.5 hours of listening time on a single charge. That wasn't my case, to be frank. I actually had 8 to 9 hours of listening time from the Oraimo soundbar. So mind you, we are not putting into consideration the volume we are putting it at. Maybe higher volumes obviously might drain more battery and so on and so forth. So the Oraimo soundbar is actually rocking a 2000 mAh battery, which is quite decent for its size and for its price as well. I don't actually have much to say about the battery, but I would give it a rating of 8. Yes, the Oraimo soundbar battery actually satisfies my needs, and I would give it a rating of 8. Let's talk about the sound from the Oraimo soundbar. Music from the soundbar actually sounds very good, very good. It's quite loud, it's crisp, and very clear. You get to hear the words from the artists very clearly without any interruptions or ups and downs. Well, the highs of the Oraimo soundbar are actually good and quite okay, and the lows are not too good for the Oraimo soundbar. You actually get that full room experience when you're using the soundbar, and you get a slight cinematic vibe from the soundbar when you only get one. But if you want to get the full cinematic vibe from the soundbar, you actually have to get 2. That would actually cost you more, but you still want it, you have to get 2. With the 2 soundbars, you get that side-by-side cinematic play where sounds are actually shared or synced between the 2 soundbars, and it really sounds good with that. If you got to this point in the video, a sub to the channel would actually go a long way. So on the sound, I'm going to give the soundbar a rating of a 7 out of 10. That's okay. For $20, obviously there are going to be some compromises and some downsides of the soundbar. It's not perfect in any other way, it still has issues. So let's start with the design. Well, I really like the design of the soundbar with the metal speaker grill and the rounded edges and everything. But when it comes to the volume button switch, which is at the far right of the soundbar, it makes it easier for you to, manipulate the device and all. But it becomes an issue when you are moving it around. And since most people are right-handed, when you are using it, it's quite easy. But when it comes to moving it around, and since you are right-handed, obviously touching the right side of the soundbar would mean you'd have the volume button switch and the buttons in your way, and you'd have to use your left hand, and it becomes an issue when you are right-handed since you barely use your left hand for a lot of things. That's the issue with the design of the Oraimo soundbar. Now let's talk about the battery. The battery life of the soundbar is enough for me, is more than enough for me. With 8 to 9 hours of listening time, I have no issue with it. But my issue here is with the battery indicator. The battery indicator is one hell of an issue for me. So looking at the back of the soundbar, right on top of the micro USB port, there's a tiny hole there which is supposed to emit light to tell you the battery of the soundbar. And when it goes on low battery, aside having the battery indicator behind the soundbar, the Bluetooth itself gives you a notification saying battery low. The Oraimo soundbar only notifies you once and it goes off. Unlike other Bluetooth devices where it gives you a constant or multiple notifications, battery low, please charge, battery low, please charge, the Oraimo soundbar gives you only one notification, battery low, and it goes off. This is a real turn off for me, and that's one of the issues I have with the soundbar. You might have a very long battery life and battery health and all those things, but you should be able to know when to charge your soundbar when the time is due. And the Oraimo soundbar makes it very difficult to know that. Now let's go to the sound. The Oraimo soundbar is for casual use, not for professional use. I wouldn't recommend it for professional use. Some music here sound very good, some too sound very, very distorted. When you play music on the soundbar and you play it on other devices like headsets, you will notice a huge difference. Even though they are in different categories, but you will notice a huge difference. Some highs and lows of some musics are very good, and some is totally different. You might even not notice the music you're actually playing when it comes to the vocals and the sounds. So as I said, it's for casual use and not for professional use. And another word to say here, it's $20 all right, but Oraimo actually wants you to spend more. This is why they recommend you get 2 soundbars so as to get the full cinematic vibe from the soundbar and to get the full room immersion of the soundbar. So here they're actually tricking you to get 2 soundbars instead of getting 1. So the one soundbar actually feels like half of the full cake or the full pie. And if you really want to enjoy the full pie, you're actually supposed to get the other half of the soundbar. That's quite tricky. That's quite tricky. So looking at the soundbar, I have no with a good size, obviously have bad size as well. I would recommend it anytime and anywhere. For $20, this is a great value for your money. It can do a lot, and I would recommend it for anyone. At the time of shooting this video, Oraimo is currently having a promotion, and for about $22, you are getting not only the soundbar, but you're also getting a free gift. All links are down in the description below.